Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. A quick reaction to legendary Vikings running back Aaron Jones re-signing on a 2-year, $20 million deal with $13 million guaranteed, coming back to Minnesota after a really good season last year where he kind of slowed down towards the end. But Aaron Jones, you can't argue about how important he was to Minnesota throughout the year. Very clear difference in that team when he was on the field versus when he wasn't. If you want a particular game that you could look to see that example, look at the Jets game where Aaron was on the field early on. Vikings were dominating. He goes down. Ty Chandler was a very good backup, but he's more suited for that role. He could give you some explosion, but Aaron Jones, with what he can do, catching the ball out of the backfield and then running between the tackles, he's just one of the best in the business. You know, it was surprising to me, actually. I didn't realize Aaron Jones had the 9th most rushing yards last season. He wound up running for 1,138 yards, which, you know, when you think about his year, he had a good year, but to be a top 10 rusher in the league, I totally forgot about that because he did have quite a few injuries here or there. Didn't miss any time really, but he did have nagging injuries that I think wore on him as the season went on. Any Packers fan watching is saying, yeah, that's sort of the problem with Aaron. If he's not fresh and he continues to get worn down as the season goes on, you know, he's 31 years old now. Like, he's going to probably miss some time. He's probably going to have some injuries that'll limit him as the season goes on. That's why I still think it's incredibly important for the Vikings to look at running back in the draft here and find someone who can spell Aaron throughout the season so that when the playoffs come, hoping that we get back there, you can see that playoff prime, fresh Aaron Jones, who I still think is right up there with the best in the league. I mean, it's top 10 running backs. You got Saquon, Derrick Henry, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jacobs, Kyren Williams, Chuba, and Aaron Jones. That was your top 9 right there. Aaron's now being paid, I believe, let's see here, as the 6th highest paid running back in football, only behind Barkley, McCaffrey, Taylor, Kamara, and Josh Jacobs. It's still like, you know, $10 million to Aaron. To make him the 6th highest paid running back, it kind of feels like, okay, that's a lot for a 31-year-old. But I'm telling you, when you go back and watch, he was very important to the team in that when he was on the field, it mattered. But 2, just talking about the locker room and his presence there, I actually think that matters with Aaron Jones to a degree. Now, I'm not sure how that translates over to a monetary value, but when you listen to Kevin O'Connell and teammates talk about Aaron Jones and the impact that he made on the team, you hear the way Packers fans and the Packers organization still talks about him. Like, this guy changes the culture. I've been saying that word a lot this offseason, but Aaron Jones truly changes the culture of the team he's on to a degree that I really can't speak to. I just hear the way the guys say the impact he has, and I can only imagine how how big it is, because hear it every time Aaron Jones is mentioned. It's like how great of a dude he is. And I don't know what that means from a financial standpoint in terms of how much more will you give him to bring him back maybe than he's actually worth as a player. But it seems like it's worth it. Kevin O'Connell was saying this guy changed our organization the moment he came in. And I'm thinking to myself, like wow. I mean, how many guys do you hear their head coaches talking about them time and time again? Every game ball that would go to Aaron Jones. This guy changed our culture. Aaron Jones, like, he identifies this team. It's like, all right, you want them in your locker room. You know, in a league where there's so many guys that a lot of times the headlines are the guys who are getting arrested and doing something wrong. You know, Aaron Jones is one of those dudes that you want to cheer for. And I had a really fun time cheering for him last season after years and years and years of cheering against him when he was on the Packers. So I'm very happy for Aaron. But again, it's still really important for the Vikings to identify a running back that they want probably later in the draft. This is a deep draft class. We were talking about it a couple episodes ago, that you can find explosive players. You can find bruisers really anywhere in this draft. And the Vikings don't have a lot of picks. So my guess is that they're going to trade down from that first round pick at number 23, try to accumulate more, because as a lot of experts are saying, I'm not a draft expert, I'm just reacting to what I hear. This draft doesn't have a lot of star power, but it has a lot of quality starters. So this is one of those situations, like Ziggy says, where you kind of just want to throw darts at the dartboard and hope, you know, the more you have, the more likely you're going to hit on someone. So you're not going to, in all likelihood, no, we could be wrong here. You don't really know what a draft class will turn out as. But according to the experts, this is a great draft to just be loaded up on picks and to be able to build a quality roster around. So my guess is the Vikings wind up moving back once, twice, three times. They might be doing it the whole draft, trying to get some dudes who can step in at positions of need. One of those, I really hope, is a running back. And if there's any chance that a guy like Ashton Genty fell to 23, I would 100% still be in on it. 100% I would want a guy like that. And if you could have some sort of tandem of Aaron Jones and a rookie, I mean, Genty would be a different story, but if you have Aaron Jones and a rookie, it would, if that rookie's any good, I think you got a really dangerous duo there, especially when you consider that Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson are on the outside making noise. This is where you start to think about, okay, these Aaron Rodgers rumors here. If Aaron does wind up going to Minnesota, which you're going to hear a lot of over the next 48 hours, if Aaron goes to Minnesota and brings Davante Adams with him, okay, there's Siri. If Aaron goes to Minnesota and brings Davante Adams with him, now you're kind of talking about the old Packers with Aaron, Davante, and Aaron Jones, which is funny enough, like to me. And if they win anything, that'll just be great during the season to hear Packers fans have to talk about that. But if Aaron still has anything left, you talk about those three receivers with Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, a rookie running back who can be explosive, the left tackle at Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill at right tackle, and they can build up that interior. Oh my gosh. Like, how do you stop this offense? If Aaron has anything left, you can't stop him. Davante Adams, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, like that's sick. And even if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come to Minnesota, if J.J. McCarthy's thrown in there and they can somehow get another receiver here, maybe in the draft, you're talking about just another year with a loaded offense. And if JJ's got anything in him, he should be able to take advantage of that. So I can't wait to see what this Vikings team, this Vikings offense looks like next year. I'm pretty confident that they're going to have a great season. To me, it's all going to come down to, as far as the offense goes, in those critical moments, are they going to have a guy under center who can make the big play? Now, Sam Darnold last year I thought was great, and in a lot of big moments made a lot of big plays. All year when Sam had game-winning opportunities, he more often than not did it. So I actually was talking to my dad about this. I was saying, I don't look back on the Sam Darnold season. I'm not just going to remember it as the Detroit implosion and the Rams. The Rams game was less of Sam's fault. That was a brutal offensive line, brutal offensive game. I'm not going to look back on the Sam Darnold season as Sam choked it away. He was great all year, and you're entitled to a bad game, and it sucks that it came in a situation where, you can make the argument it was a choke, but I'm choosing to move past that. As far as what I was saying before, if it's Aaron, if it's JJ McCarthy, when there is that key third down, when there is that key game that we have, the game that the Vikings so often lose when they hosting the Giants in the wild card round, hosting Seattle, they push the kick, go step further, you're in the NFC Championship games that they continuously find ways to lose. When there's that big moment, can the quarterback make a play? Kind of like the Bills, honestly, where right now it's not really about, for Buffalo, getting that team better. It's more about, can they execute when it really matters? I'm not talking about just Josh Allen, I'm talking about the Bills in general. Can they execute when it really matters? You missed the kick against the Chiefs a few years ago. You couldn't get the stop this year. It's like, or you couldn't get the fourth and inches. It's all about those little moments and having the guy who can make the play. I think Josh Allen is that guy, but that's what it'll come down to for this Vikings offense, because the talent's there for them to be explosive all year long. Defensively, that's where I have some concerns that, like, Byron Murphy has to be re-signed. They need to improve in the secondary, especially depending on what Harrison Smith does. They're going to lose Cam Bynum's my guess. So defensively, I think, is a much bigger issue. But the offense should be a lot of fun as we continue to see what they could turn into there. So not a particularly long episode today. I just, I had to get out there and throw a little jab at Green Bay that we got their guy back for 2 more years. It seems like he loves Minnesota, guys. And it's nothing against the Packers. A great organization. I love Wisconsin. I'm a big fan of Quick Trip. Huge Quick Trip guy. I have nothing bad to say about the state of Wisconsin. My sister went to UW-Madison. I really enjoyed going to Mondays, I think was the bar on State Street. Had a great time there. Awesome place. But, there's just something about Minnesota that makes you able to call it home, if you know what I mean. So Aaron Jones resigns with the Vikings to, in all likelihood, finish his career out as a Minnesota Viking. Will probably retire his jersey after the Super Bowl win. Maybe the back-to-back Super Bowl wins over the next couple of seasons. And, if Aaron is able to really pull something, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, Aaron Jones, but, if he's able to break out some massive seasons here and does find his way into Canton somehow, he'll probably go in as a Viking. Yeah. Think about that. Just messing around a little. All right. Well, we'll call it a show right there. Aaron Jones back on a 2-year, $20 million deal, $13 million guaranteed. The Vikings get their running back, but there's still a lot of work to be done in that backfield to build around him. Thanks for watching this episode. Remember, please to like, comment, and subscribe. Tomorrow, on Monday, we're going to hear a lot of breaking news, I'm sure, because the legal tampering period is open. Tuesday's the official start, but Monday now has kind of turned into that day where we're going to hear a lot of news as the day goes on. So we'll be having instant reactions. Jack and Ziggy. Ziggy's actually in Washington right now as the curtain comes down. Ziggy's actually not in Washington. He's in Delaware. I don't know why I keep saying that. So Jack, Zach, and I will be on reacting to some of the biggest free agency news later on in the day. We'll see you soon.